samaya manubhalaya benza sado deno bhajena jendo soto kayo nebhava sobo kayo atorando nebhava sarva siddhi medaya sarva karma susame sedamashi aha hoy bhagavan sarva dada gata benjay mane benja benjay bhava mai samaya sato benja sato samaya manopalaya benja sato deno bhajena jendo soto kayo nebhava sobo kayo anorando nebhava sarva siddhi medaya sarva karma susame sedamashi aha hoy bhagavan sarva dada gata benjay mane benja benjay bhava mai samaya sato benja sato samaya manopalaya benja sato deno bhajena jendo soto kayo nebhava sobo kayo
Hello, Jack with Rentals.ca. I couldn't dream of living without my beloved Matt.
anorando nebhava sarva siddhi medaya sarva karma susame sedamashi aha hoy bhagavan sarva dada gata benjay mane benja benjay bhava mai samaya sato benja sato samaya manopalaya benja sato deno bhajena jendo soto kayo nebhava sobo kayo anorando nebhava sarva siddhi medaya sarva karma susame sedamashi aha hoy bhagavan sarva dada gata benjay mane benja benjay bhava mai samaya sato benja
Good
sato
morning.
samaya manopalaya benja sato
Adonais.
deno
I'm very good. I'm very good. So as usual, if I am not busy at working, I will turn on the YouTube channel and sit and waiting like you, my dear Dharma friend, to come. Then I may read something. How are you? I hope you are doing great. I hope you are evolving or progressing in the path of awakening. Now, there's nothing important than awakening, in my in, I mean, in my view. There's nothing more important than awakening. But it took me kind of 40 years to realize that, maybe 45 years. I don't know where you are or how old are you, what's your job, oh great, you're doing great, well, and you've been doing Dzogchen the past few days, and it has been very nice abiding for extended periods of time. It's nice to have in the waiting state, in the waking state. Yes, great. You're lucky, and we are so lucky. You know, Dzogchen. I was I was initiated years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, I think. So the lineage was is Pema Nimpa, and yeah, it's great. It was great journey to awaken. Anyone who are in the path of awakening, in my understanding, they are we are in good karma. There's some inner reasons that led us to this path of awakening, no matter from which lineage, Dzogchen, Vajrayana, or Chan, or Zen, or Mahayana, any lineage is helpful. May I know which country are you from? Or do you have any questions I would like to answer? Nigerian, wow. Years ago, I had a friend, a Nigerian, while I was in Ottawa. They're really nice people. You see, the truth is everywhere, right? And everyone, no matter where we are from, we are seeking for the truth. May I know what time is that? Is there now? I've never been Africa. I wish I could. But this next week I'm going to Europe. Anyway, if you do have any questions, I would like to answer, especially in Dzogchen. Dzogchen is a great perfection, very similar very similar with Zen or Chan, Art Yoga, you know, Mahayoga, Anu Yoga, Yoga. I still every day twisting, bending my body, kind of how to say, kind of physical yoga. But again, yoga is union of the body, mind, and spirit, or greater me, or greater I. It is our presence. Art yoga is pointing to our presence. That's why I talked about the topic days ago was from person to presence. The true awareness is art yoga. The pure awareness is art yoga, is Zen. Yeah, it's quite interesting reaching the understanding. I often forget, follow experiences, see me and see a black man. I'm not in Nigeria. Oh, sorry. I live in New York. Oh, okay, but I'm from Nigerian originally. Congratulations. I have been in New York 2 times, I think, but years ago. Big city. I bought my wife the marriage ring in New York. Very worldly person at that time, I think. But in the past 10 years, and also 5 years, it's like I have evolved from a worldly person or old person or worldly person to a completely new person, a new pure presence or awareness. Yeah, it's quite something. So, if you like, I would read some book, the book again, this pocket book by Thich Nhat Hanh, How to Focus. I mean, if you don't mind, you can keep asking my question or sharing your experience if you want, and we can talk about it anytime. Talking about Dzogchen, actually, I may have a good recommendation also for you because I watch it very often to how to say, first is to improve my English and to be familiar with some special terms in Dzogchen. Just give me one sec here. What's that name? Give it just it's in my phone. Khenpo. So I just give you this link. This guy is called is a YouTube channel, Khenpo Dreamed Dawa. Very good one. I really like his English anyway. You can watch his YouTube. It's really helpful. A lot of teaching there. Awakened one. Awakened being. Okay, if no questions or sharings, I will read this pocketbook. So, How to Focus by Thich Nhat Hanh, page 36. Mental formations. To be aware of our mind means to be aware of the mental formations. Our various states of mind. A formation is anything that is made of other elements. A flower is a formation, a physical formation. It is made of sun, rain, soil, seed, and so on. Our hand is a physiological formation. Our anger is a mental formation. Mindfulness and concentration are also mental formations. According to my tradition, there are 51 mental formations. As a young novice, I had to memorize all of them. It is important that we train ourselves to recognize each mental formation when it arises and to call it by its name. Contemplating the mind means contemplating the mental formations. Yeah, mental formations. So it's one of the five skandhas. Five skandhas are forms, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and limited consciousness. So mental formation is the fourth of the five skandhas. Again, five skandhas are the Maya that blocking our way of choosing, or it's like clouds blocking the sky. So if there's heavy clouds, so we cannot see the blue sky. So all these five skandhas, including the fourth, the mental formation, is kind of blockage that we cannot see through everything around us and everything inside us. So we lose our true self. It seemingly it seems that we lose ourselves. Actually, all the clouds has no power really covering the sky, right? It's just temporary covering. So that's an important idea. I would like to really understand. In Heart Sutra, the first sentence is when uh, Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara sees through all the five skandhas, he or he ends all the suffering. You see, that's the power of seeing through. We are not fooled by five skandhas or any forms, names, feelings, emotions, mental formations, and egoic concept of understanding of the nature. That's really something. If we can see through five skandhas, that true seeing will bring the emergence of the true self, the presence. Like now, your presence is always here and now, will arise. Even arise is not proper word. It's always here and now as a background. No matter you're doing or you're not doing, you're thinking or you're not thinking, the presence subject to nothing. I will, hopefully it makes sense for you. Okay, let's go on. The five universal mental formations. Okay. Of the 51 mental formations, there are five universal mental formations that are operating all the time: contact, feeling, attention, perception, and volition. It's kind of expressing the five skandhas in a different way. Again, one of the 51 mental formations, there are five universal mental formations that are operating all the time. Contact, like your eyes can see, your body can touch. Feeling, after that contact, you have a sense of feeling. I like it, I dislike it, it's neutral. Perception, actually, perception plays a more important role than the contact, than the feelings. So perception, how you perceive the world determines how you feel the world. I would like to say that. So I gave an example in the previous videos. Imagine in a room there's a table, and on that table there's a red apple. Now there's four people looking at this red apple. The four peoples are an artist and physicist and nutritionist and the Buddha. If I can add one more, let's say a, a dog. So artist, physicist, nutritionist, Buddha, and one dog looking at the same apple. Do you think their understanding of the apple will be same? So the artist more in a perception of shade, texture, color, you know, light. In the eyes of physicists, he may use more concepts of atoms, molecules, the electric magnetic field, forces, gravity, and so on, right? In the eyes of nutritionalists, maybe more in terms of vitamin A, sugar, protein, minerals, and so on. In eyes of dog, none of this exists. But dog may see a round shape there and don't label it as an apple. He just see an object and no labeling on it and may try to eat it, right? But in eyes of Buddha, what it will be? It will be what's the perception of a Buddha looking at a red apple. He may include all these perceptions of previous four and can let it go and have a different understanding too. You see, Buddha's perception is all inclusive, yet can let all the perceptions go. Maybe I can use a word from Buddha's teaching is emptiness. He can see the emptiness of an apple, meaning he not only see an red apple, but also see the sunlight, raindrops, an apple tree, birds, wind, insects, nutritions in the apple, the the molecules or magnetic electromagnetic field or forces or gravity in the apple. You may see also the shape, the texture, you know, the light, the gradients of light. You see, Buddha's perception may include all these previous four perceptions, and we'll say, okay, that's all these perceptions are empty. Interesting, right? So in the previous four perceptions, artist, the physicist, and nutritionist, and the dog, an apple have to looking at the simple apple may have different understandings because of the different perceptions. Imagine you're looking at much more complicated whole world. What different understandings will bring you? It's much more complicated, right? So my point here is perception plays a role. How you perceive the world determines how you experience the world, how you feel, how you act, how you think. You see, how you respond. Perception is critical. It's very important in these 5 skandhas. So perception, again, forms, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and limited consciousness or individualized consciousness. 5 skandhas. I really learned a lot from the Buddha's teaching of 5 skandhas. Okay, that's Thich Nhat Hanh trying to express some meaning here too. I just repeat of this. The 5 universal mental formations that are all operating at all time contact, feeling, attention. Your attention plays a role too. What are you attentive to will lead what are you experiencing. So these four uh, um, elements or five skandhas: contact, feelings, attention. Sorry, here is not five skandhas because Thich Nhat Hanh add attention here. Attention is not in the five skandhas. Contact, feelings, attention, perceptions, and volition. These five elements is kind of dynamic, interdepending, influencing elements. Your attention plays a role too. You may so if you may attentive to the news, the war between Russia and the Ukraine, then reading the newspaper or watching that news may disturb or influence your feelings. You see, your eyes, it's a contact too, right? While you're reading a newspaper of the war between Ukraine and Russia, then that's a contact between your eye and the newspaper. That's a contact. Then you have a feeling, oh, it's terrible. There's killings. People are suffering there. There's a feeling of suffering or sadness. Then you may, and why you have this contact feeling? Because your attention is on the news at that moment. And why you attentive to that news? Because your perception, you like to perceive that. I mean, I don't read any newspaper anymore. It's maybe it's not good. I mean, anyway, it's a natural process for me. I don't read any news unless it's just pop up from my computer because I don't have that perception. I like to talk with you now, like this, reading a spiritual book, play guitar, do some yoga. So my 24 hours are occupied already. Why I invest my kind of energy and time, attention on something that will not benefit me? Anyway, this is my attitude now. My perception is more into spiritual awakening, and time is limited. So volition. What is volition here means? Just give me 1 second. The faculties or power of using one's will. Okay. Your will, your power, the power of will. They form a sequence. You see, these five elements: contact, feeling, attention, perception, and volition. They form a sequence with one mental formation leading to the next, and the whole process from contact to volition can take place in less than a second. I totally agree. It's a dynamic like cooperation of all of them. Contact occurs when a sense organ touches a sense object. For example, when our eyes see a flower, when we are aware of it or not, our senses are always coming into contact with something. Good. A contact may make an impression that is mild or strong only when the intensity of a contact is important enough with attention manifest. Contact also serves as our foundation to feelings to arise. You see, mindfulness can come in at any time, but if it can be brought it by this point, it can intervene in the process of perception before the energies of perception and the volition push you to respond out of habit. So mindfulness or meditation really like a watcher, like a security guard. In Chinese saying, we say the five sensory organs like five thieves. Actually, the mind also is like a sixth thief to steal away your inner stillness, to steal away your inner peace and calm, to a thief that steal away something that's really important, like inner peace, calm, presence. Makes sense? So mindfulness is like a God watching. Hey, our eyes is looking to a disturbing news, or our ears are listening to a disturbing sound, or our memories our trauma, the memory of negativity coming to our mind and steal away, stimulates us, agitates us, right? So mindfulness is trying to watch it, and it's so important. Once you notice you're agitated by a memory, by a feeling, by a sound, by an image, by a person, my suggestion is you notice you're disturbed. Once you notice you're disturbed, then you back to your inner peace. The awareness can be aware of itself and is originally peaceful, calm, loving. Basically, I'm talking your presence, right? The presence contains the fragrance of inner the peace and calm. Okay, that's I want you that is something I want you to understand. Your presence contains the basic like fragrance of inner peace, calm, perfect, completeness. Once you notice you're disturbed by sound, the image, by your memory, back to the inner, back to your presence, watching. 何其自信，本自清净. So, in the sixth patriarch Huineng of Chan in China, his famous quote is, "How peaceful and calm our presence is, and it is originally peaceful and calm." That's his famous quote after his awakening. 何其自信，本自清净. Your presence is already peaceful and calm. So once you notice you're disturbed, back to your inner peace and calm. I mean your presence. That's the most efficient way. So that includes something like taking a deep breath and be present, be self-reflective. It includes all the techniques, and it don't take any time. There's no distance between you and your presence. Make sense? You don't need to go to mountains to be present. You don't need to read a spiritual book to be present. You don't need taking a deep breath to be present. I really want to experience that. Your presence is always here and now. You are presence. You don't need to do something to earn your presence. You don't need time and space to become your presence. You are presence. The presence is already calm, peaceful, complete, and perfect. that's very paradoxical, you see. And no worldly teaching or like a college or university or talk or teaching this. Now, okay, let me explain a little bit why you can be present. It's a fundamental question. Or why you can be aware. It's very funny to ask these questions, right? We are so ignorant of our awareness. We take it for granted, you see? The first second in the morning we wake up, you're aware. But how you can be aware? It needs a almost infinite cooperations between all the stuff like nature, like air, like sunlight, like gravity, like electromagnetic force, like nutrition from your food, like water, like your parents. Everything is or are cooperating right now to make you present, to make you aware. If you really notice this or understand, and how to say, okay, this Dong is talking about truth now. Why I'm aware? Because the whole universe is working on me. Or traditionally, we call this the touching of God. The hands of God is touching us to make us aware or be present. The whole universe is working to make you present. The food, the air, the sunlight, the gravity between moon and sun, the gravity between the the black hole in the center of Milky Way and the Earth and the Sun, the Milky System, the electromagnetic field in every molecules, in every cells of your body, the 8 systems, the breathing system, the digestion, the skeletal muscular systems in your body. All these 8 systems of your bodies is supporting us to make you aware. The awareness is connecting to every other things right now. It's a dynamic dance of everything, every forces, every matter, every energy, every information. And it's only in the now. Past is an imagination. Our past is the memory from past is it's only a memory. The plans for the future is our imagination. There's only now. There's only this dancing, organic dancing at every moment, which makes you aware. The awareness, the very awareness, contains every information, every field, forces, matter, energy. You see? And there's no such a thing as your awareness and my awareness and his or her awareness. There's only one awareness. There's only one presence. It's universal. It's beyond space and time. It's beyond any boundary. No matter you're American or Canadian or Chinese or Japanese, we are aware. We are universally, identically aware. That's called oneness or non-duality. What was that book? The book is let's say how to how to focus by Thich Nhat Hanh. Actually, it's not only telling you how to focus. It's it's published in last year. So it's a late book by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a very concise yet includes everything. That's why I love it. I don't like to read very thick book and yet some words are nonsense. I like to read very simple yet every word is pointing to the truth. I like that. That's why I like this book, and I can carry it in my pocket, a pocket size. The very awareness is the hugging of God. It's the presence of God, and everyone has it. Everyone is it already. The God light, the light within, or Buddha nature is already in every one of us, and we are it already. It's already originally complete and perfect. The egoic mind, the individual mind cannot understand this. Trust me, it's so great. It's so beautiful. We're so fortunate. We're so lucky. But we miss it every day. This greatest fortune or treasure in every one of us, we miss it every day. It's so obvious to see it. The first second in the morning when you wake up is the gift of God already. You're aware? That's the presence of God. Your presence is the presence of God. There's no difference. There's no gap. There's no gap of space and time. The God presence is your presence. Crazy. Okay, maybe let me finish this. Perception is the energy that recognizes the form and the characteristics of the object of our attention and gives it a name. Like leaf or mountain. We have to we have a concept of what is there, but we have to be careful because all of us are frequently victims of wrong perception. We see a rope and may think it's a snake. The rope and the snake is a very common metaphor we used in Buddha's teaching. So whatever we touch with our mind, whatever you touch with your mind can touch everything. You can touch me, you can touch a tree outside, you can touch a distant galaxy, you can touch your body and go in and go out, zoom in and zoom out. Your mind is Buddha. The pure mind is Buddha. The pure mind here equals your presence. Oh, so beautiful. I'm so grateful. Uh, so, whatever we touch with our mind, be careful. We should then know, first of all, that is the object of our perception. So, in this way, actually, you see, mind has two levels. Then the worldly mind, the logical reasoning mind, or calculating mind, planning, memorizing mind. That's one level. But sometimes we say pure mind. So pure mind means your awareness. A pure mind is not prisoned by any concept, object, understanding. It's just pure, unconditioned, unlimited. We should know, first of all, that is the object of our perception and that our perception may be erroneous. Mindfulness can help us avoid wrong perception. I will say mindfulness is while our body mind is touching something which brings us feelings, likes and dislikes. The mindfulness is try to guard that potential identification or identity with the feelings and objects, with the contact. You see, mindfulness is just a guard to prevent the field of pure awareness collapse into a rigid, identified object or feeling, and including the perception too. So mindfulness, to be simply put, mindfulness is while you're experiencing the world, you keep the sense of I amness. You don't lose the true self. That's called mindfulness, a true mindfulness. That's a meditative state too. You are experiencing the ever-changing world, yet the never-changing I amness or presence is preserved, is maintained. And in this way, you enter the suchness. A suchness, like a coin, have two sides. The suchness or tathagata, tatata, sorry. Tathagata is Buddha. So tatata. Tatata means suchness or an experience, yet the awareness can be free from that experience. It's a total balance between the experience and the freedom, the ultimate freedom. A field is collapsing into a form and name, yet a field can be free from that form and name. That's the total balance. If I say that total balance between an experience or name and form and its original phase, the field, then it's a suchness. A suchness has two sides, ever-changing experience, names and forms, and never-changing pure awareness. And you can live with it. You are awakened to that dynamic dancing of these two sides. You are the suchness. I think that's enough. That's really good enough. We stop at page 38. It's such a beautiful session today. So, if no question and no listener, let's end this session. Bye. Thank you.